George.
We'll cover this, but I'll just give you all these to start with. The advantage, the dispute, if you run into here with that. So back, and we got the new plan that you got here today, and that was small. That's going to be making it a 10. Right. George. You want to talk about there? Just like, it's George.
On one of them, right here, that's the top setback, that's how, and this is what they'll have to the tip.
Right, we did always service delivery strategy. Do we wait? What last thing I said to you was, I wasn't sure why you were thinking we could, because it's emotion tonight. Is of course it's a resolution. But the intergovernmental agreement is different. I wasn't sure in terms of intergovernmental agreement. Right. 72 hours. The changes in what we will adopt tonight, if it's okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to look at it, I've been looking at it again.
Yeah, it really didn't affect us at all, still. It's more of a clarification.
It was a simple.
How would we get all?
We don't know what would be approved. Years.
Kristen goes, we would never accept those. But if we accept it, says if we accept it, we're responsible for it. Do well. Yes, sir. How was you? You enjoyed it, so you couldn't. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
We need leaders.
Well, and is that a final plan of subdivision or a final plan of phase one? We'll have to see. What that will still we can take a position, of course, the problem is we're already being taxed. So
You draw the plans.
that's my plan. There's no road in there. So, I think still it's part of it. There's there's another question.
I've been seeing as far as
No, I haven't seen that. I didn't know that.
That's just to,
That's a long process.
It's time, Mayor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to call to order the Temple City Council meeting of October 1, 2018. At this time, please stand with us if you have the and the Pledge of Allegiance. Stand with us, please. Dear God, in Jesus' name, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the privilege of living in the city of Temple and the opportunity to serve its citizens. We just pray for all of our citizens. Pray your blessing on them. Pray for your blessing upon those that are sick and afflicted, that you give them wellness. We pray for those that are grieving over loss of loved ones, you give them comfort. We pray, dear God, for knowledge, wisdom, and discernment as we as the council meet and discuss the business of this city and look out for its best interest. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the published agenda of this day's city council meeting as presented.
I make the motion to approve as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same sign. All right. Next, we have the approval of past minutes. First, the meeting of September 4, 2018, the regular meeting of the city council.
I will offer a motion to approve those minutes.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving these minutes, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. And then the meeting of September 18, the joint meeting with the City Council and the Planning Commission. I'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Those minutes are approved. That brings us to public comments. Is there a Linda Ledbetter present who would like to address the council? Linda Ledbetter. Okay. All right. Is there an Amy Camp present who would like to address the council? Yes, ma'am. If you'll come toward the table, please.
I am Amy Camp. I am president of the Friends of the Library group from the Temple Library. We would like to hold a fundraiser for Saturday, October the 6th, using the Temple Senior Center space. My request is that the fee be waived so that all proceeds from the fundraiser can benefit the library fully. The proceeds from the library will be used to buy books, audiobooks, DVDs, and CDs. And if there's any money left over, we would like to purchase a new computer for the patrons to use for the library classes that the library is hosting, for internet research and genealogy research that is happening at the library right now. The fundraiser will be a murder mystery dinner entitled Murder at the Winery. There will be no alcoholic beverages served, but it was the cutest, closest theme that we could find that we thought would be the most fun with the number of patrons and members that we have to the library.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
How do we get that on the agenda so that we can vote for that?
Just make a motion to add it to the agenda and do that.
Well, it's technically you're supposed to give 72 hours advance notice of changes to the agenda. The question becomes, if this is a request on behalf of the library itself as a public entity, you could just say we have no objection to it being done. So the question is, the Friends of the Library, is that a formal organization?
It is a formal organization. We're a 501c3 organization. Every public library has a Friends of the Library group.
Yeah, so,
Or-
I'm sorry, but thank you, ma'am. Because it's a separate entity and they be conducting that fundraiser, it's going to require your approval at a meeting where it's on the agenda. You could vote your intention tonight, since she would have it to know to go ahead with things.
Because this is October the 6th,
This coming Saturday.
this coming Saturday.
Then I'm afraid you got to go by what we call a pray do it rule, and just go ahead and do it. You don't have any objection to it.
Let them do it.
Let them do it.
No
If
objection.
there's no objection from the mayor and council, then they'd be authorized to go ahead and proceed.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to new business. And item number 1 is a presentation by Carroll County School Superintendent Scott Cowart. We welcome Mr. Cowart to our meeting and ask him to come forward and to share with us.
Well, good evening.
Good
How's
evening.
everyone doing tonight?
Awesome.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council, for allowing us to be here tonight. You remember we came about this time last year and shared with you some updates on the school system, and we want to make that an annual opportunity to come as a partner and as a friend and somebody we work closely with to share with you what we're doing, how we're doing, progress in the school system, and specifically around our Temple schools. We're doing this with other city council groups across the county as well as the county commissioners. Before I get started, I do want to recognize some folks that are with us tonight. We have our Temple board member, Sandra Morris, here with us. We appreciate her being here in support, and she'll be glad to answer any questions along with me. Also, we have Mr. Ted Gribben, principal of Temple High School, and Ms. Lisa Puckett, assistant principal of Temple High School. I think you know these folks well. We're very, very fortunate in the Temple area to have some good people representing you, as well as good people who are in place here at our schools to do the work that we have to do with children. So let me share a little bit with you. Before I get started, I do want to point out 2 things that we left at your place. One is we have a copy of our Temple Cluster annual report. This report focuses entirely on our Temple schools and what their year has been over the last 12 months and the successes and opportunities that they have. You'll find some really, really neat stuff in there, and I'll highlight some of it in just a minute. The second thing you have is a copy of our district annual report. And the reason we brought both, obviously you're most focused on our Temple schools and how they're doing, but being that we are a multi-high school district is very important and how we do as an entire group of schools, because Temple doing well is important to the district just as much as Bowden doing well or Mount Zion, vice versa. So working together collectively, one of the things we talk about is what we call our 24 strong spirit, and that comes from the fact that we've got 23 schools in our school district, And then the 24th number comes from the fact that that's made up of the Board of Education, myself, all of our district office departments like transportation, student nutrition, so on and so forth. Our job as the 24th entity is to support those 23 schools. So we recognize that even though we have separate clusters, that all of us work together collectively and have a huge impact on the quality of life for the citizens of Carroll County, and most specifically, economic development for Carroll County and specifically for Temple. The last thing I have that we set at your place is a little vision card that I'll talk to you about at the very end of my conversation. But I'd like to share with you just a few highlights. Let's start with how are we doing in relationship to enrollment and the growth or lack of growth potentially in the school system. Like so many entities, our organization is driven by the number of people we have involved. For us, it's the students enrolled in our schools. As a district, this year, we went over the 15,000 threshold. It's only been done for 1 month previously in the history of the Carroll County school system. This year, each month, each of the 3 months we've been in school, we have been over that 15,000 threshold. We were right at 15,062 students. That's up 137 students from this time last year. Now, breaking that down for the Temple cluster is up to 2,717 students. Put that in perspective, that's an increase of 174 students in the Temple cluster schools over the last 5 years. So you can see there's been steady growth, not only across the school district, which has grown over 600 students in the last 5 years, but here specifically in the Temple cluster, which I would expect you're seeing some of that as you're dealing with housing starts and other things relative to maybe economic development. And it's important for us that as we look to make decisions moving forward with the school system. The second thing that I'd like to share with you is probably, I guess, maybe the most important performance metric that we are held accountable for. I mean, at the end of the day, we're ultimately judged on how many children we graduate ready to either enroll in a post-secondary opportunity, to be employed gainfully in some type of employment opportunity, or possibly enlist in the military. So we talk about enroll, employ, or enlisted. And for this past year, I am really excited to say that our school district did something we've never done before. When you take the district average of our 5 high schools this year, our district average was over 90% for the first time ever. And the actual percentage was 91.7% of the district students actually graduated this past year. That is a real celebration. Yes, it's not 100%, but when you look at the fact that back in 2011 and 12, the district graduation rate was 65%. And now we're at 91.7. That's because of the great job that people like Mr. Griffin and Ms. Puckett, their teachers, are doing on a daily basis in our classrooms, and the support that we have from our Board of Education has allowed us to have this movement over the last 7 years. However, let's drill down deeper. Let's look at the Temple cluster schools, and specifically Temple High School. This past year, Temple High School was at 92.1%, correct, Mr. Griffin? But what I want to share with you is the 3rd consecutive year that Temple High School has been above 90%. And that, again, is something for this community to be exceptionally proud of when you think about that particular metric. Because at the end of the day, the public's going to look more at that particular metric than any of the others that are out there. And unfortunately, the state puts a lot of them out there to do that. So we're really excited. When you think about our school district, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize that our school district is ranked in the top 18% of the 182 school districts in the state of Georgia. Again, that is something that has slowly, moved forward over the last several years, and again, it's a reflection of what's happening in our classrooms and in our schools and the good work that our people are doing. Our elementary schools, the 12 elementary schools, are ranked in the top 5% of all elementary schools in the state of Georgia. And we're moving, hopefully, to get our middle schools and high schools even to that level of achievement. Specifically in the Temple cluster, some things you have to be extremely proud of. This past year, Providence Elementary School was only the second school in our district to be recognized for STEM certification. Now, STEM, you may have heard that talked about lately in education. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. That's one of the latest things that we're working towards to try to engage students in learning. I can speak to it as a granddad. My oldest grandchild is in the 5th grade and absolutely loves science and math right now, mainly because of our schools focusing exciting opportunities for students around these areas. Now, there are not a lot of males at an early age that get that excited about science and math. And my grandson is not the exception. He's starting to be the rule because we're seeing more and more of our young people get excited about that at an early age. And what Providence has done, they've taken it to the next level by getting to be a certified STEM school. And so because of that, you'll see the other Temple Elementary schools move in that direction in the next 12 months. Really, really good stuff. At the high school level, this past year, Mr. Gribbins High School was recognized with a platinum award for the Governor's Office of Student Achievement for Greatest Gains because of the work they've done in moving students towards graduation and helping students who were behind and really making gains beyond what's expected of a school like Temple High School. It was also recognized as AP Challenge School, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Gribbin. Again, Temple High School has approximately 630 students. So that's a unique number in that it's not really considered to be a large high school, but it's not really a small high school either. They face challenges offering enough advanced placement courses to students and making sure that enough students are enrolled in dual enrollment opportunities at the college level. But being an AP Challenge school, that basically says that Temple High School has gone beyond what's expected of a school that size to offer more advanced opportunities for students in the building. So again, something to be extremely proud of here in the Temple cluster. A couple of other highlights that I want to pull out for you to kind of talk about that are more like district-wide highlights. One, a couple of years ago, we opened up a new facility next to Billerica High School, which was our North College and Career Academy. And I hope all of you have had an opportunity to visit that. And if you haven't, I invite you. They're going to have a community day coming up in about a month, and we'd love for you to come see it. But what that's allowed us to do is take our students here at Temple High School, instead of riding on the bus 30-something minutes one way to get to the South College and Career Academy, they now ride down the street 8 minutes to this one, and we have really put more instructional time back into their day, and they've got the same offers they would have had in the past. And it's been tremendous. Because of that, we have had a great increase in the number of students who are taking advantage of these college and career opportunities and things like broadcast journalism, engineering, auto mechanics, and on the courses and pathways we offer at our College and Career Academy. We're the only school system in the state of Georgia to have 2 of these. Second thing that I wanted to offer from a district perspective is last year we opened our Performing Arts Center. Again, I hope all of you had the opportunity to visit, to see that facility, and it has opened new doors for our students, both in the Temple cluster and across our school system. For those who are interested in whether it be music or dramatic arts or the visual arts, we now have a venue for them to showcase their skills and talents. Carroll County schools did not previously have that. We had to borrow venues from somebody else. Oftentimes, in this area, in the north end, we was borrowing a church to have some of our different performances in. And now they have their own place that they can perform. But because of that, we're seeing great increases in the number of our students, even down to the elementary school, who are choosing to participate in art and music and things of that nature. So we're extremely thankful to our Board of Education for understanding the importance of this and investing in this opportunity for our students who are talented in this area. Most of you know, I'm a longtime coach in Carroll County before I went into administration, and I'm all for athletics. And we got plenty of ball fields all over the place, but we didn't have a single place that we could take our students who were talented in art and music and allow them the same opportunity to showcase their skills. So again, something that we're extremely proud of. And finally, the third district highlight that I want to share with you is to more or less to reaffirm for you something that's been very much a public topic over the last several months, and that's school safety. I'm sure, just like anyone else in our nation, you are concerned about the safety of our students. Our Board of Education has been very concerned about school safety, our administrators, and what I'm here to share with you is the board has allowed us to take a number of steps in the last 18 months. And all told, we've probably invested over $2.5 million over the last 18 months in different ways in school safety. Each of our schools currently, right now, are going through an additional upgrade with safety, with additional access doors into the building where you can't come in without card swipes and things of this nature. We are taking additional security measures at the front office areas. We had already done several things, especially here at Temple High School and all of our Temple cluster schools, about creating an entranceway where they could not walk into the school, but they could still walk into the office. And from the office, they could get into the school. So we're creating a different process now where during the school day, if somebody comes into the front office, a front entranceway, they have to be buzzed into the front office. They can't just walk straight into the front office without the front office allowing them to do that. The board last year allowed us to do a huge camera project. And again, if you'll talk to our people in our schools, they are so excited now. We've got a state-of-the-art digital camera system in every single one of our schools that we'll put up against anybody in the state of Georgia when it comes to that type of equipment. We have recognized, the board has recognized how important safety is, and we wanted you as a community to know that that commitment is there, and we will commit to continue. Just recently, we actually hired a full-time safety officer for the school system, whose job is to work with Mr. Gribbin and all the other principals when they have concerns or when they have issues, to go out and give feedback about security issues in the schools, or help with investigations, or be liaisons back with law enforcement, even like, the Temple Police or the Sheriff's Department or whatever. So we think that's just another step in our efforts to make sure that everybody understands our commitment to safety. The last thing I'll leave you with, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that the council might have, is this sheet, the little card right here. If you unfold that card, one of the things we've done over the last few months in the school system is try to be really clear on what it is we're trying to do collectively. When I talk about the fact that we have 23 schools and we employ about 1,800 people, we're the second largest employer in Carroll County. We are a very large organization. So in any large organization, trying to clearly communicate what it is we're trying to accomplish is very important. And this is just one little tool where we have outlined 5 things that we're focusing on. So we're making a commitment to you, to all of our citizens, to all of our teachers, to all of our students, that we will focus on the following 5 things. Number 1, the most important thing, and what we're there for, number 1, is focusing on learning. Every child needs the opportunity to learn, grow, and succeed. more every day than they did the previous day. So that's number one. And number two, we believe it's important that when we do something, we do it with quality. So if we're gonna have band, if we're gonna have robotics, if we're gonna have a drama team, you know, we need to work very hard to provide premier experiences for your students. You know, we're in an era of choice now where parents more than ever can say, I want my child to go to this school, or I want my child to go to this school. And oftentimes they're making those decisions based on the choices of what their children can participate in and the quality of what they participate in. So we're making a commitment to our community to continue to try to improve the quality of what we do. Thirdly, we're going to maximize our talent. And I want to be really clear here, I'm not talking about just our employees, I'm also talking about the talent of the students. We have some very talented young people in that 15,000 students. And it's our obligation to them to do everything we can. If you're talented in music, we need to help you. If you're talented in math or science, we need to help you. If you're talented in something else, we need to identify that talent to do that. One that I'm extremely proud of is the fourth one. We started about 3 years ago really trying to emphasize the importance of giving back. Schools often ask for help, you know, of the community, of parents, of city councils, things like that. But we needed to do a better job of giving back to our communities and teaching our children the importance of being good citizens and of them giving back. So whether it's our staff giving back or our students giving back, we recognize that obligation to serve, and we're trying to make sure that we teach the young people we have in our schools that that's an important thing for us to do. And finally, you know, we recognize that for us to continue to move forward in this community, in all of our communities, that we have to practice good stewardship, that we have to make good decisions relative to resources, how we use them, and how we try to grow this school system in a very thoughtful and mindful way. Again, I'm very thankful for our Board of Education and their leadership in this area over the last several years. We were in a very difficult spot about 7 or 8 years ago financially, like so many other people. And right now, we're in a very good spot financially. And a lot of that's because of the leadership the board has given us and what decisions we've been able to make that are very thoughtful and mindful of resources. So with that said, thank you for letting me be here. I would love to answer any questions. I know it might have been a little bit long. I've been told that I tend to be a little bit long-winded sometimes when I talk. But, you know, when you got good things to say and you're excited about it, it's kind of hard not to get up here for a moment and brag, especially when we brag about this particular area. So, Mr. Mayor, City Council, I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody might have. I know from Mr. Morris or Mr. Griffin and Mr. Pumpkin would be glad to also.
Any questions, council?
I don't have questions. I just have a comment. I appreciate everything that y'all do for our schools here. And I'm proud that we have 4 schools inside the city. We hear a lot of good things about it. And as far as serving the community, I think that's evident that we recently at the Temple Founders Day Festival, we had students to volunteer to help. So that was encouraging. So,
And we've tried to really start working to help them understand why that's important.
so we appreciate that.
Anyone else?
Well, I'd like to say, Mr. Cowart, we're grateful for the partnership that the city has with y'all and serving the families of this city and also the surrounding communities. And appreciate you and Ms. Morris and Mr. Griffin and Ms. Puckett for coming and being with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, item number 2, to conduct a public hearing on a request for a variance on residential property in the Lakeshore subdivision, which is zoned design concept development for the purpose of relocating the property line between 2 adjacent lots located at 179 Waters Edge Parkway, which is lot 180, and 185 Waters Edge Parkway, lot number 179, whose respective boundaries are set forth in a survey dated July 26, 2018, and revised as of September 18, 2018, application by property owner Trademark Quality Homes Incorporated. Anyone present here tonight who would like to comment in this public hearing regarding this matter? All right, hearing none, seeing none, and we will close the public hearing and move to item number 3, approve a request for a variance on residential property in the Lakeshore subdivision, which is on design concept development for the purpose of relocating the property line between 2 adjacent lots located at 179 Waters Edge Parkway, Lot 180, and 185 Waters Edge Parkway, Lot 179, whose respective boundaries are set forth in a survey dated July 26, 2018, and revised as of September 18, 2018. Application by property owner Trademark Quality Homes Incorporated. Mr. Osborne.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this after there had been a change made on the side yard setback, and as was being requested by that adjacent property owner. So that's what you have in front of you at this time.
All right, at this time, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we accept. That does come from the zoning board with recommendation, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have
Yes, sir.
a lawyer question. If this is approved, does anything need to be done, like an addendum to the final subdivision plat that's on record with Carroll County, since it's going to change a lot of sizes?
No, sir, but what needs to be done is we'll have to prepare an ordinance that sets forth the nature of the variance and has the plat information on it to show what's needed done. Which is one other thing too, is
Yes, question with that. This is the DCD. Does that make any difference with what you're talking about?
No, we won't. But let me mention one thing to you about variances. I noticed there was an issue about 5 versus 10 feet. I was looking at that a while ago, and section 38-723 says you can't have, you cannot grant a variance if it's less than 7.5 feet. So I think it's something we need to keep in mind. That became an issue with the memo bill as to whether it was 5 feet or 10 feet. So if your code provides, regardless of what it is, it can't be less in a variance request. There's a side yard setback than 7.5 feet. So I think we need to be careful about that to be sure it's not, that you will not have to amend it as it relates to those 2 lines. Just, but you'll need a record of it, that's one of the reasons for the ordinance.
So are we okay with approving this?
Yes, sir. You are.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, with an ordinance to do this, does it all, is that will that be something that'll be brought back to the next?
You approve variance requests, and that has been done. What I will do is put it in form, doesn't require anything further from you other than authorizing as a part of your motion to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute those documents or any other documents in relation to the variance. So when we talk about it being an ordinance, any zoning change should be done by ordinance, but it's not a codified ordinance. There's a distinction. You follow me? If you're changing the variance setback from 38-723, you got to do that by a code amendment. This is simply just putting on record what this is. So, but it's not done by, there's 2 ways to do it, resolutions and ordinances. I don't mean to get in the weeds too much about that. That's how you got to do it.
Okay.
So this ordinance is just for this particular piece of property that we're doing.
Ms. Vivian said it a lot better than I did.
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure all the big words. I was, cognifying, and I was like, let me get that.
I guess I'm after all these years a lawyer and I can't get rid of big words.
Take a lot of money,
All right, any more discussion? All right, we have a move and a second, so all in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. All right, it passes. Item number 4, authorize the City of Temple Public Works Department to secure the services of the Carroll County Public Works Department to do prep work and then apply the final pavement topping on Iverson Place, which is the only street in the Tiffany Mills residential subdivision, with said project being funded by payments made by residential builders in this subdivision through the city's roadway and infrastructure project improvement fee ordinance, and by revenues in the city's general fund that will be reimbursed when additional funds are collected by the city as the remaining vacant lots are developed in the Tiffany Mills subdivision. Anyone have questions for Mr. Everhart?
I make a motion that we do this. We discussed this in committee.
We did.
So I make a motion that we do this.
All right. Have a motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, I have a motion and a second to authorize the Public Works Department to do this. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Item number 5. Adopt a resolution to apply the City of Temple roadway and infrastructure project improvement fee to the Azalea Hills residential subdivision and to the Lakeside residential subdivision effective as of October 1, 2018, in accordance with the city's roadway and infrastructure project improvement fee ordinance. Mr. Osborne.
At your work session, of course, we had originally 3 subdivisions we were looking at and decided at this time just to focus on these 2. Staff has had some conversation with the developer or builder of some of the houses in Azalea Hills who they want to speak to you. But the mayor and I, we had talked before this meeting, and as you will see in about 3 more items that we come to, at the appropriate time in this meeting, you will need to consider scheduling the special call meeting that we talked about being next Thursday night, October the 11th. And this will tie in with number 8, number 9, and a couple of other items. But this particular one, the resolution that you got in front of you is basically mirrors the resolution that was adopted by this body when we did the first 3 subdivisions to be a part of being under the roadway and infrastructure project improvement fee ordinance. If there are questions, I'll be glad to try to respond, and as I mentioned, you may have somebody who wants to speak on this.
So this
Go ahead, sir.
is again what we discussed in committee, with the exception of just dropping one.
We're dropping one.
That's one we discussed.
It's what we discussed in committee. There have been some questions raised by the builder that we're looking into. But this is what we discussed during the committee.
Is this something that we'll hold out from?
I would have no problem with tabling it to the meeting on the 11th. That will give us time to get some of this other work done, I think.
All right, I'll make a motion, we table item number 5 to table it, or do I need to say table it to a special call meeting? Table it. Make a motion to table it.
All right. Yes, sir. So you can keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, please.
Steve Oxman with Wade Journey Homes. And I would like to request, I spoke with Mr. Osborne before, but I don't believe that a week's enough time to get this all figured out. I was just notified of this being a possibility on Friday, found out about the meeting today. And we really like some time, and Mr. Osborne mentioned working together to come up with a resolution that works for everyone. I believe the spirit of this is to not burden the taxpayers with road repairs on neighborhoods that won't accept it. Well, a bond is also another way to do this. And Without knowing all the costs yet, without knowing whether the streets are accepted, I just think this is more than a 1 week delay. I think that we need a little bit more time to get and work with the city to come up with something that works for everyone.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, Ms. Bivens.
Is all of our subdivisions got this, or have we just got certain ones that this applies to and certain ones that this don't?
Certain ones that you have taken action to make this fee to be applicable to, and it fits within the ordinance. When you look at the ordinance, it sets forth the condition of the developing subdivision that would cause it to be included.
Okay, so is there a reason though that we wouldn't just do this across the board for any subdivision coming in, any subdivision building, and any subdivision already there?
Yes, ma'am, because this, at least, in our particular situation in some other communities, the economic downturn back in 2008, you had a lot of subdivisions. They had built only a small percentage of the homes, and then everything stopped, and developers went belly up. Now the banks which bought it ended up with them. They sell blocks of lots, and they come in as builders, say they have no responsibility for the infrastructure, and you're left holding the bag. And so the city of Temple back in the summer of 2016 passed this ordinance. We put 3 subdivisions under it in January of 2017 and one later in the year. We've got these 2 that we're looking at this time. And I would say that I believe there's a good chance that we'll have this resolved by the 11th. And that doesn't mean we'll be in agreement necessarily with the gentleman who spoke, but the questions that we need answered, the ordinance has been there, so anybody who comes to Temple to build, the ordinance is there. And the gentleman said that he's not been able to find it on our website, which I understand, but the 11th gives us 7 working days, and hopefully we'll get it worked out like that.
All right, we already have a motion by Mr. Bracknell to table this to the 11th. Is that correct, sir?
But I got a question about tabling this. Our ordinance is in place, and us doing this is already in place. We're just adding a subdivision. And as what we were directed with that ordinance, I don't know that it needs to be tabled.
I think there's questions in existence as to, from the memo that Bill sent out and what he sent to me, as to exactly when this was done, what the requirements were, and I think there's some things that need to be reviewed. We'll go back to the mayor's statement, talk about whether you table it to the 11th. The way I normally would suggest you do anything is just table it for future consideration. You take it off the table when you get ready to do it. So I do think there's some reasons to take it off tonight. And I just say, if you see where you go with it, if you have a meeting on the 11th, you're ready to deal with it then, fine. If not, you can deal with it when you need to deal with it.
So your motion is to table it for the future. All right. Is that the correct wording for the future?
That's perfect. Ask Ms. Business.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think the ordinance was meant to be applied to any subdivision that is incomplete and not built out, regardless of the asphalt or not. It's any infrastructure, whether it be damaged curbs, stop signs, street lights, storm places, all of it.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second. No second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
The motion is to take
Just
it
table it for the future. All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Item number 7.
6.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
I'm sorry.
Correct. Number 6, approve the joint resolution of Carroll County and the cities of Temple, Carrollton, Billerica, Bowden, Bremen, Mount Zion, Whitesburg, and Rookville to adopt a new service delivery strategy or agreement to reflect these governments' preferred arrangements for the provision of local services throughout the county, and to authorize the mayor to execute the agreement and service delivery strategy updates for certification on behalf of the city of Temple, with the effective date being upon the approval of all necessary parties. Mr. Osborne.
We talked about this during your committee meetings a week ago. Kristen has given you a copy of a memo that we received today from the county attorney. And there are a couple of minor changes that have been made that do not impact Temple at all. And in talking with the city attorney, we think that you can move forward with this. So in terms of looking at the new service delivery strategy agreement from Temple's perspective, there's no change from what you had looked at before, and very little change in the strategy agreement from several years ago.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the joint resolution.
Make that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Number 7, authorize the mayor, city administrator, city attorney, and representatives of Raymond James and Associates, Inc. to communicate and negotiate with the Carroll County Water Authority regarding plans for the refunding bond transaction of the city of Temple's water bond debt. We would invite Mr. Owens, he's already standing here.
Yes, sir.
And any council questions and any information to what he shared with us a week ago, then here's your opportunity.
I think it's pretty well explained a week ago.
Mr. Owens, any other comments you need to add to what last week?
No, sir, just as a very brief refresher, we're refinancing that 2010 bond. What we're asking for this evening is authorization to go to the Water Authority and to just make an agreement with them on the terms to determine the terms under which they would allow us to issue those bonds, using them as a conduit, non-recourse to the authority, but for the revenues you provide through the government contract. So that's all we're asking for, authorization.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, I'd entertain a motion then to provide this authorization.
I make a motion, we provide it.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign.
Mr. Mayor, I think that refunding is supposed to be refinancing, isn't it? So for the refunding bond, then it's supposed to be refinancing.
Yes, ma'am, we use those terms interchangeably.
Item number 8. Consider investing United Community Bank CD 7150 in the amount of $77,564.51 in a new certificate of deposit account at Synovus Bank at the best rate of return for the time period decided by the mayor and council. These investment funds may be invested in their own account or combined with Synovus Bank CD 6135 maturing in December of 2018 for a total of $329,322.04 at the best rate of return for the time period decided by the mayor and council. Is my understanding, you want to go ahead and explain? Yes.
Well, go ahead and do that.
Well, you may need to supplement, but I was going to say that we are waiting additional information from Synovus Bank in regard to this decision. So we would entertain a motion to table this for the future, or probably next week's special call meeting. Mr. Osborne, need to supplement any of that?
Only to say that the memo I had put in your workbook pointed out we were waiting to hear back from an officer with the bank. He had thought that he would have final approval on the options to offer to you. We had not received that until late this afternoon. and he said he hoped he would have it to us soon, but on this one and the next item, we're not ready for you to take action.
I make a motion with table number 8 and number 9 until we get our final numbers in from Sonodas.
All right, we have a motion to table items 8 and 9. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion further? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign.
Abstain.
Item number 10, adopt the City of Temple fiscal year 2019 budget calendar as presented by Fiscal Services Consultant Cynthia Geyer. And I think we had that presented to us last Monday at the committee's meeting.
I make a motion, we accept that calendar.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Item number 11, authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with the CPA firm of Warren Averett for preparation of the City of Temple's 2018 audit. Mr. Osborne.
If you would flip back a little over halfway, you will find a memo and contract for 2018 audit preparation. At the meeting, last Monday committee meeting, you did direct that I follow up with them because you said that you were interested in having another year of service by them. What we received that we have given you, there are two terms of engagement. There's the traditional audit, and then there's the one that's now required as a result of state action to look at certain things in census data that's tied in with your retirement program. But on the memo I've given you, if you will look down at the bottom of the first page, and this document is 8 pages long, and on this 6th page you will find the fees, and basically what they quoted you was $30,000. That's up a sum from last year. We see this each year going up a little bit, and that's what they have done again. The census data for GMBS, GLAMS, you'll see that cost is listed at $6,000, and the current cost is $5,800. So that's what we are bringing to you. Other than the change in the money aspect, basically it's the same thing as we had last year.
I make a motion, we accept.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Item number 12, authorize the city Public Works Director to solicit bids for installation of a new roof on the old Public Works building, with the city obtaining alternate quotes for replacing the current style roof and for construction of a gabled roof.
That too was discussed at length at the
Yes, sir.
committee meeting, so I make a motion that we authorize that.
I second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 13, announce that this year's City of Temple Fall Cleanup will be held on Saturday, October 20, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the corner of Johnson Street and Milner Street. Want to add anything to that, Mr. Everhart?
Here's the flyer. And we'll be posting banners around the city, about 5 banners around the city. And for the public, I encourage everyone to come out. This is a great event.
You can get rid of unwanted items, household items. Encourage the neighbors to come. It's great. We have 2 20-yard roll-off dumpsters. It's a great event for you guys to do. So please come out and support it.
Is that on our website already?
Christine is on the website?
It is, yeah.
It is.
All right, any questions? Anything further?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, item number 14, from among the 3 responding companies, select the company with whom the city of Temple will contract to provide equipment for the new playground in the city park. Last week you had the companies presented. Mr. Osborne, you want to comment?
If you'll go back to your tab, a couple of tabs, just past that bright colored sheet that Dwayne just was talking about on the cleanup. What I have given you is what you had and discussed last week, the quotes that we got from the 3 companies. You did ask for warranty information, and we have included under this tab the warranty information that was provided to the recreation department by each of these companies, and it's in the same sequence as you see listed above: Game Time, Play Sound, Play World. Also, we did talk, Mr. Wilson talked with each of those companies as to, once we decide who we would contract with, how long will it take you to deliver and install the equipment. And what we have is the Game Time, you can see the Play Sound, Play World. If you remember from last Monday night, Mr. Wilson recommended Play Sound. That is the low bidder. And he explained to you during the discussion, as I recall, why he was recommending Play Sound. Do we have a representative here tonight from Play Sound? I think, did you say he was outside?
He said he was outside.
Mr. Arthur, I'm here on item 3. I may be too late this morning, but.
I'm sorry?
I'm here on item 3. I'm a little late. I apologize. I know it's too late about this area.
Your day late is dollar short. We did approve what you were looking for.
You didn't? You did. You did? Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry about that. I apologize.
Mr. Wilson, y'all come on up. So, Mr. Wilson, I had brought them through the first page here of the, including delivery and installation, and it pointed out you were recommending Play South, and it just said a representative from Play South was expected to be here to respond to any questions, and so we do have that. So, Mr. Mayor, that's the report. We do have the warranty information. Anything, Joe, that you want to say other than?
No, Ray is, I know some questions about the ADA specs and things of that nature.
Sir, you have any information you'd like to share with the council before they ask any questions they may have?
Yes, sir, Mayor. My name is Ray Graham. I'm from Kennesaw, 2825 South Main Street, downtown Kennesaw. Just to clarify on the structure that I designed, I came up with, just made a few notes here. You know, the ADA only addresses children in wheelchairs. It's in playgrounds, right? It only strictly address children in wheelchairs. And one of the state fact that less than 5% of the children that are in wheelchairs are even able to play actively on the structure. Less than 5%, even because of the upper body strength of themselves up and out of the wheelchair. 25 to 27% of children with disabilities have either ADD, ADHD, on the autistic spectrum disorder. Those primarily are larger population, 25 to 27% of those children. The structure that I propose, that I've put together is in fact ADA compliant, has the ADA transfer station, is also inclusive. We've also come up with some different pieces of equipment that makes it even more inclusive. The Volta spinner in particular has 3 outboard seats that are wheelchair accessible height for children to transfer to the spinner. As well as another item called the Comet 2 spinner. It's got 2 openings where a child could, if they could transfer from a wheelchair, could sit in the center of the Comet 2 and spin. But again, those 2 items will even address the much larger population of children with disabilities that I mentioned before. So the structure is totally ADA compliant, and it is inclusive, and it's I feel a great structure that we came up with and designed. And also Burke, not with Play South, we're the exclusive distributor for Burke in Georgia. And Burke, Joe applied for the grant and was awarded, you guys were awarded the grant. It was over $50,000, I believe it was, to apply for that. So you're getting $100,000 equipment for half that cost, basically.
Any questions, council?
So those 2 things you're talking about, they're now included in our bid?
Yes, but that's, it'll take us from the 57, it still is under our budget of 64, or whatever we
Okay.
had, it still is able to fit in there.
And we can add additional, Joe and I spoke in particular, there are other items we'd like to include, an ADA compliant swing, but things like that, we can work on and include that.
Any other questions?
Is this that is the actual equipment and the colors, or we get to choose the colors, or?
Yes, sir. You can definitely choose the colors. If there are modifications to the equipment, then that would obviously change the quote, but as it says, yes, all the colors are customizable, every piece. You could have one railing one color and the other railing another color. You could do, the city colors.
Now, does this address your question though, is this gonna be for our older kids too?
No. This is the age group is 5 to 12 is what it's for. You typically have a 2 to 5 and a 5 to 12 age group children. This structure is designed for 5 to 12-year-olds.
So
Yes, sir.
actually, nothing in this would address that, but hopefully that would be our police and we'd have to take care of that. I was just making that as a suggestion at some point in time. If we still have those older kids that want a piece of playground equipment, go up there and look at that, pick out, and just put it out there for them and say, here it is. But chances are you do that, they'll have nothing to do with it. So, but it might be, I think it might be wise, because of the 2 playgrounds, maybe look at a swing that at least handicap.
Oh, yeah, that was part of the, once we got.
Oh, so that's it.
Yes.
This is the actual layout of what it would be as far as the square footage
Yes, sir.
on the.
Yes, that's correct. That's would be the square footage. That's with the borders. And everything inside of that is set up with the ASTM use zones for the equipment, the distance between a slide exit to the borders. So that's the actual layout.
I'll tell you what, if this is used as much as the one we got, this will be well worth it. So with that, I make a motion that we accept Playwood.
I second
Place
that.
Place out, place out. I make a motion, we accept the place out bid,
I
place
second
south bid.
To be paid for out of the squad.
Yes, I have that to be paid for.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Mike Howard, ask his question.
I got one more question, kind of bugging me. You're calling for 1,940 square feet on the playground area. I guess that's for the mulch. And you've got figured in 70 cubic yards of mulch, which at 8 inches thick, that would cover 2,835 square feet.
Actually, it's put in at 12 inches and it compacts down to 9 inches.
Okay, that answers my question.
Yes, sir.
So that explains the extra 900 square feet of mulch.
All right.
I understand that.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Brightman,
I I second that motion.
We have a second by Ms. Bivens. Any further discussion?
I do have to say that's 2008 splosh too, not 2015. That was the end of 2008 splosh. We got this money.
Okay, so that, just so that we have to make sure that when we make the motion, we put the correct. Okay.
Yes.
All right?
All right, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Council. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Joe. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. All right, item number 15, report on quotes obtained by the Recreation Department on fencing replacement and/or repairs, and consideration of possible action by the City Council. Mr. Wilson.
Here I have 2 quotes. I'm meeting with a third representative tomorrow at 10:30. I should have another one by then.
Mr. Ross.
Just, when we met last Monday night, we knew that we might not have everything ready for you tonight. And so the wording on the agenda item is basically, we would report on the quotes, in their consideration of possible action. We're probably not wanting you to take any action because we've got the 2 quotes, but the one tomorrow, we need to see what that is. And we're looking at some other work that Mr. Wilson will be doing on some other improvements there. But looking at having all of this ready for you meeting, if you meet next Thursday on October the 11th.
He's in the restroom.
Yeah. You'll have that by the committees. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
You'll have that by the committees. Okay. So, oh, okay.
All right. Okay, item number 16, consider approval of changes in the plans for the new press box facilities in the city park as presented by River Bottom Farm, and consider whether to contract with said company to build a new press box based on a consideration of these changes in plans for said project. Mr. Osborne.
You go to the last tab, and the first paragraph tells you that we have a revised bid from Bill Reinhardt for the construction of the new press box. I met with him. He had realized when he read the first part of the email I had sent him, a copy I've included here, that he made a big mistake in his calculations. He apologized for that. What he did was to give you a calculation, as you know, based on 400 square feet. It should have been 200 square feet. And so that bid that he'd given us of $28,750. Now the revised quote is $21,750, decrease of $7,000. The other is that he did provide me with an explanation, which I've put in here, but basically he just made a mistake. The other is, as you'll see down here at the bottom, that Ms. Bivens, for one, had asked us some additional breakout, and so he did continue with the treated wood, which you asked, but of his bid, $1,500 for glass that would be involved, $973 for the wire conduit, $3,000 to connect that equipment, including the working up high, and then the contingency, $1,500. And when you look at the agreement, basically, that anything, as you see at the bottom, would want a provision in the, that any contingency expense would have to be approved in advance by the city. He didn't know if he would even have any contingency expenses, but that would let us possibly, if we no more not any contingency expenses, that would could make the price as low as $20,250. But that's my report based on a meeting with Mr. Reinhardt. So I'll be glad to respond to questions. Good Joe with the
Any additional questions?
Just a comment, that's a big difference from where we started. They used to ask questions.
Absolutely.
So, to clarify, then, if the council wants to act on this, then the motion needs to be to accept the bid with the contingency expense requiring approval by the council or by the city for those expenses.
Yes, sir, if they are contingency expenses, it needs to get those approved in advance. But that would, the price of $21,750 includes up to $1,500 of contingency.
Gotcha. All right, I entertain a motion.
The 1,500 is, if needed, that is in the 21,750.
Yes, sir.
It's not plus.
No, it's included, so if we don't need it, it's down
It
to.
should be 2,000.
Yes, sir.
Any additional questions? All right, this time I'd entertain a motion.
Well, we've gone through everything here that we've asked to do, and we've got it brought down, and I think everything has been done in good faith. So, and we've had the explanation of why we need it. So, I mean, it's still a little bit steep, but if that's what's needed, and that's what makes our rec department, I'll make the motion that we accept that bid.
All right, have a motion. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, is your favorable? Okay, all right, so 3, 4, 1 against. Motion carries. All right, that brings us through the agenda down to executive session. At this time, I will entertain a motion for the council to go into executive session.
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. McCray has a comment.
Oh, yes, sir.
And for what purpose?
Personnel.
No action to be taken.
No action to be taken in executive session.
No, I mean, we're not going to have any personnel discussion and then come back and take any other action in the meeting. I'm talking about any other action in terms of any other items. that you're
Oh,
going to take.
after we finish with the session. No.
Okay, just want the press and everybody to be aware of that.
I think I understood your question.
Yeah,
In other words, do we come out here and y'all gonna make a vote after we finish the executive session on anything regarding executive session?
right, or anything else, the only vote would be to adjourn.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Did we have a second? I may have missed it. Did we have a second on that motion?
I second it.
Okay. All right, all in favor, let it know by saying aye. Aye.
That's right. Mike, a nice copy of the agreement. Oh, great.
Good idea if they sell it
I
now.
was about to think this well.
And then the second thing being, I'm gonna be good idea. Yeah, real good idea. Very good. And I don't even know as we speak. When I get, I'll find out. It won't be long.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, good season.
They should. So, we're meeting in here. We're in the wrong place.
See you if they go. Less pending. It's gonna pay more than that, so. Why don't you, tell you what, we really need to do Rob Monroe. Send me a note tomorrow, I will send a note.
They got that going on right now.
Right now, it's
This way, park on the wrong side.
Thanks, Mike, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Side of the street.
Pick up the stuff while y'all in executive session.
I thought you were,
We weren't before, we did it before. We're running from 6 to 6:30, so we can't come in and see it. Let's go. I'm gonna send a copy of it. Howard President, send a copy of it.
because most of that down.
Looks like the Braves.
So, LA one.
Yeah, so.
You know, I was ambivalent as to which, what I really wanted was, either one of them would have preferred to have had the home field advantage.
And I know it doesn't matter, because it ain't Bell. You know where that house is there?
One.
No, you want to inform the phrase got about this high.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I have to
Well,
have a
and then Brewers, some guys parking up.
did they beat Chicago?
Their division, Chicago's the one first, Chicago and.
And he's already gonna play more direct on the street.
Where do they play?
$1,000 a year, then another.
Yeah, where do they play?
Probably, I would imagine the Brewers, since the Brewers have a better. No, not the Brewers. I would imagine the Chicago has a better record than Colorado.
Over in Amy's subdivision, that couple ladies. She said she.
I was looking at it when they ended the season.
No, it's not like over
They
there.
don't play this playoff game, and I looked at it
Her husband.
in LA.
Oh,
Points scored versus points allowed.
coming out of his.
We were like plus 130 or something, and Colorado's plus 30. I guess that's how it's.
I don't know. I have no idea. I
You think whoever won the season I've just never seen it with two divisions where I like that on the last day of the season.
Most of it.
I'm thankful.
Because assuming that it's what you and I both think it is, then clearly it's being already.
Oh, yeah, I know it better than
We did accept the
And I said, it's not every day.
So, and I'm just hoping
About a year ago,
that,
down
that we did.
They live in a car park there.
In my view, we need to find out thing we need. So,
Yeah.
that's the reason I was saying, I think we'd be ready, because I think it boils down to that. If we did accept it, then they're covered. If we did accept it, that part that we're looking at is not covered, and the back part.
No.
Oh, dude. A little bit. If it makes sense on the back part, maybe just the other part. But you go to the streets, back part. Well, you got your traveling shoes, who was she? Yeah, they decided they didn't object to it, so they will not be charged. I'll send you a note.
robbing two trees. Well, just go straight in. And I asked several people, they all agreed, hey, I don't want to cut the grass either, and we don't see anything. But I didn't know there was a covenant. I'll check on that, and I appreciate it. Yeah. And like I said, the biggest thing I've seen is when this guy's got that truck parked in the wrong direction, and then a lot of people seem to come and turn around and fence. That was a nice, side cul-de-sac. They don't go all the way to the end of the cul-de-sac. And it's got pretty dicey a time or two. I just said, I can see it. Not even 226. Like I said, I got a white ball.
That's actually why I get a course on the guy who we have right away. Security.
Here's Brandon's Center and James, whatever's in this, we're on the left side going in. Yeah, Marshall's house, and that's where Holloway, what's that person? I can't call it. They had, they had going posted. They had that, yeah, Marshall had, he had a I've seen him. And, but anyway, I just wanted more or less, I was about it. If we get too dicey, I'll do it that way. Thank you.
I even thought about, could we leave and go?
It's something up.
It's something for it.
Yeah, it was just.
It's one of those things that if what I put together, if I'm not going to work, if it's all you don't want to put that together. No, it was somebody.
Did y'all go to the Dynasty area?
We went through there, but we stopped in, because they have this little antique alley right downtown in West Monroe. We don't do that kind of stuff, that's just not our thing. But they had.
I did, but it wasn't quite long enough, but you do have to have a pool to go in that city.
Y'all went to it, he did not do that. But they have this little main street, it's like Old Town, it's kind of like Temple, but they have two sides, businesses on both sides, and they're trying to get us on the river. But they have like little antique stores and boutiques, and
mostly antique stores and stuff. So we thought, well, let's just go there. So the only place to do that was Miss K's Diner, or whatever it's called. Miss K's Sweets and Eats or something. So we went in there, had the best cappuccino, espresso. It was really good.
It still didn't make the, still was a long drive. You know, it's like you enjoy stopping like that and you realize, we still got about 6.5 hours to get home.
We'll deal with it.
Oh yeah, we lose an hour.
Yeah, that was the
Add that in there.
Yeah.
They got home and took the car back. We unloaded it, took the car to the record player, and go back out. We just dropped the keys off. So now we got back home, it was like 10.
Oh, yeah, I need
What's your evaluation of the game?
There's been some discussion about moving that elsewhere park.
I don't know if we're number 2 team, we play LSU. We go to the bottom of LSU, then we gotta play Kentucky, we gotta play Florida, and we gotta play, we play those 4 games. Next year we play games in all, then we play LSU. So I think that, we'll see, I think we'll get to see that right this weekend. We got a conference, everybody's on the race.
Yeah, Kansas City. It's not that quarterback of Kansas City who's just there, really. I don't even know where he came from. College, he went to.
The tough game, there's a tough game, they weren't consistent, so I think they're going to get better because we're still at the
Yeah, one day I did it for yesterday, watching even on the ground, shoved us all 3 times.
We got a
65.
Has protection.
41 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And boy, I saw the replay of the 65 when he both of them. He just went, was a good man, was extra. Watch George game. Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Play in LA. The race we play in the Dodgers.
So we will definitely be asked about it that day.
Yeah, yes. I will wear my green, that's
Yeah,
their.
I will wear it.
Yeah, well, that thing is.
They play.
They didn't say
Said
that
yeah.
time yet.
But now,
But I'll be,
yeah.
wearing my,
Now, more than likely, I'll show you right now. It's going to be
I
real.
won't buy a new one until they win.
Because
I might buy a
it's
new
been down.
one. So.
I think I got to go to the Chamber of Commerce.
That's right.
Thursday night.
Put it up like this and go to
Barbecues down at Copan. Yes.
Might go with
I've got.
Well, he's, the reason I'm going.
you. I didn't know it was nothing you going.
No.
You know about my.
No.
Go down to town.
Invited, so.
Go down to town late Friday. And we'll be back to.
Well, I'll keep them updated on
So,
only if it's positive for me.
Matt said today, we talked to him too, she said that they might try to.
basically, it's pretty much safe for 7.
LA
Every Sunday night, Sunday.
boxes for the first 2, it would have to be Sunday, but he had already asked us.
Gotta be in
Could we babysit in case, if they did that.
I'm not sure, see, that
You know, the Braves are, the thing is, you know, LA's a great team, always, they smack off. The Braves are better.
And better as the years on, they're thinking, it's gonna be done, I think, this will have to.
Yeah, I can send you all the votes, yeah, that's the other day, it's just for the time, it's Thursday, police week.
All right, this time we entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
Make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, this time, closing comments. Ms. Bivens.
None, thank you.
Mr. Wallace.
No.
Mr. Walton.
None, except to just reiterate the fine job that the kids we did on the festival. I can't give them enough praise.
There you go. Mr. Brighton.
Just handed you the recommendation from the personnel committee for you to review.
All right. And I would like to echo Mr. Walton's comments and just supplement by saying that Temple showed up on Founder's Day and Temple showed out on Founder's Day. And it was fabulous. All right, a motion to adjourn is in order.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, let it know by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned.